Greetings and happy Vlogmas. This is the second time of me trying this. Um, it's been a rough December so far. I'm hoping it gets better. And so one of the things I wanted to do was talk about holiday memories. Here is take two. So hello. Um, so holiday memories. I think it's fun when we're younger. We do have some, fond memories of when we're older and stuff like that. But I think it's when we think about our childhood and go over kind of everything. But I was remembering how every year Christmas Eve was spent with my dad's side of the family, and Christmas Day was spent with my mom's side. And to get to my aunt's house on my dad's side, it was about an hour drive. And I remember always looking for Christmas lights. And we were on, an old highway. And yeah, I was always looking for a tree off in the distance. Like, there's a house over there and they have a Christmas tree. And I used to get so excited because the Christmas lights were the thing I really enjoyed the most. Sorry, I'm itching my face. But we'd get there and, we'd have the big holiday meal and everything. And I'd see all my cousins. I was the youngest, except for the family that was up in the state of Washington because we were in California. And we would really never see them at Christmas, unfortunately. But yeah, we'd go and we just all gather around, and there was lots of food, lots of desserts, and all that stuff. And I remember, my aunt had this really long table for all of us to sit at, and so got older, we got to sit at the table, and then there's also the little nook where we'd also sit, and it was always fun, and we'd play games, and we'd get into the closet where all the games were and be pulling out the games, and all us cousins would be playing until we got to open our presents and doing all that. And then there'd be the ride back home. And then Christmas morning, Santa would come and I would do that. And then go over to my other grandma's house. And her tree, if you ever watch A Christmas Story, that tree that they have with the funky tinsel all over it and some garland and the big ass Christmas lights, those big bulbs. Like right now, I think Dollar Tree has these light up necklaces that look like those big bulbs. Yeah, that was my grandmother's tree. And she always had, uh, you know, there was always that and the presents. And um, my brother came in and interrupted me. uh, yeah. So, anyway, so there was always the tree and with the big bulbs. And I didn't even, we didn't have those on our tree. And my aunt, who I'd see on Christmas Eve, didn't have those on her tree. And of course, they'd be strung outside too, those big bulbs. And I kind of miss those. They're so silly looking. But yeah, but it was just all of us kids running around crazed and uh, just having a blast and getting underfoot and just, you know, driving everybody a little nuts. So that was typical Christmas. For the food, um, I was trying to think of what we'd have, and we'd have just have traditional stuff, probably like ham and everything, um, over at my aunt's house on Christmas Eve, and there was also, and we'd get some for Christmas from my grandmother, and there was always some there, and that was fudge which I can make that. I know how to make that. Divinity, which I cannot make. I haven't sold my soul to the devil in order to get it to turn out right. And she'd make candied walnuts for some reason. They were like sugared. I don't know what that was. But also, too, her sister, because my grandmother was originally from Montana, her sister would come out every winter, spend the winter in California because it's a little bit better than Montana, right? She would make these cookies. Now, I haven't eaten these cookies, obviously, in decades because, my aunt has, or my great aunt, I should say, she passed away years ago. I hadn't seen her in forever. They were this chocolate cookie. It was about this big. They would literally melt in your mouth. And they just had this thin layer of white icing on them. She made them every year. And she was like the only person that made those. And they were so awesome. And also, too, there was always ribbon candy. And I can't find that anywhere. It reminds me of Christmas because it looks like Christmas ornaments anyway. But yeah, my grandmother always had ribbon candy. Why, I don't know. Whereas on my mom's side of the family, my grandmother always made a turkey. She raised turkeys. Well, she raised 2 turkeys a year. Thanksgiving, Christmas. Okay, we ate those. And she would make her mashed potatoes, and they were okay. And her stuffing, amazing, stellar, best stuffing ever. But she would make Jello with fruit in it. And I would never touch that. And then she would make this green stuff that was the cottage cheese, Cool Whip, pineapple, and lime Jello. I do make that now, and I would never eat it because I thought that was weird. And all those years I missed out on that because I'm like, oh my God, this is good. But I remember always having that, and the first time I ever had a pecan pie was at that grandmother's house because she always had a pecan pie because my uncle loves them. And of course, her pumpkin pies. And she would make mincemeat pies. And I'm like, yeah, I ain't eating that because that sounds bizarre. And then I found out it's not any meat in there. It's like dried fruit. But there's raisins. So I'm not 100% sure about that one. Okay. But I might try in making my own version of a mince pie without the raisins. Because raisins are evil. They're up there with olives and mushrooms. So there you go. Fight me. I don't care. But yeah, so that was always the tradition, food-wise. It's like there's always the fudge and divinity from my dad's side, grandma, and then the weird green Jello stuff. And she would also make this other thing, and I'm gonna make it. My brothers never had it, and I found the recipe, and I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it for you guys, so you can see it. So that's a little surprise. And like I said, I'll try a mince pie. But yeah, that was always the food. Always looked forward to it. Oh, and the tin of cookies. You know those little short bread cookies? Oh yeah, 10 of those. And my aunt on my dad's side always, always, always gave everyone See's candy for Christmas. So you get a box of See's candy. That was always fun too. So, but I always remember that. Yeah. Around food. That's how family is, right? Food, food, food. The presents. Now, I am at the point in my life where if I get a present, I'm going to be incredibly grateful because I really don't get anything for Christmas anymore or my birthday or anything. But I remember my grandmother. Now, you look at my hair. It's very gray, right? My natural color is kind of a medium to dark brown. And when I was in high school, I dyed it black all the time. Right? Not really goth, more like heavy metal kind of teenager. That was me. But my hair was always black. And I remember the first Christmas where I had the black hair, and we showed up, and I opened my Christmas present, and it was a rather ugly sweater. It had like gold embroidered rose on it, rather large, maybe a couple, I don't remember. And it was green, and not like a forest green or an emerald green. It was like a like darker shade of lime green. And she was upset because she bought it to go with my blonde hair. When was the last time I was blonde, Grandma? Like when I was 2? Hair was like 15. It was definitely like something old ladyish, and yeah, I'm like, oh my God. And for a few years, my grandmother was fixated on giving me like lime green blouses and sweaters for Christmas. I don't understand why. One of the best presents I ever got was I think it was for Christmas. It's from my parents. It was their old stereo. I was so excited because they bought a new stereo and I got their old stereo. And, being just around teenage years, I was super stoked about that. And I remember before that, we'd been kind of poor, and my brother was little, and he was just like a couple years old because there's a 13-year age difference. And he might have been just a baby. I don't know. I can't remember now. I was barely a teenager. I was a teenager, but barely a teenager. And I actually really was excited about this, and I had it for the longest time. It was before I got the stereo, and it was one of those turntables. It was like a box, and so you open it, and a record would, like a little 45 would fit in there, but like a big record would not fit. You couldn't shut it on it or anything. But yeah, I used the shit out of that because I was so excited. Yeah, be able to listen to music, that was the thing. I just so loved it. I remember those. Those probably like some of the coolest presents I've ever gotten. I know that probably the best memory of Christmas involved my son. And he was little. He was like 3. And he needed a toy box because he just did. And they had these Foot Lockers at Kmart. That's where I worked. And so I got one of those big Foot Lockers. And it was blue. And he saw it under the tree with his name on it. I said, oh, yeah, so he knew it was for him. That was the only thing from me, was this big Foot Locker. And he was kind of bummed, little 3-year-old. He saw it and he said, oh, yeah, I'm going to get that. And so he opened it. And my cousin, he was not quite an adult yet, he said, oh, yeah, his eyes lit up. Because what I had done is I had wrapped all his presents and put them in the Foot Locker. So when he opened the Foot Locker, here was in his little yellow pajamas, little footy pajamas, and he opened it up, and it was just like, oh my God. And he was so excited. His eyes just bugged out of his head because it was just full of wrapped presents. And I think that was probably one of the coolest memories of Christmas, making my little boy happy. But yeah, I'll probably get flooded with more memories and of the food and gifts and just feelings and all that kind of fun stuff. So that's me sharing a little bit of my life. Drop a comment down below of what your maybe weirdest memory of Christmas is, or the holidays. Maybe one of your fondest. If it's food related, that's okay. It happens. So thanks for watching.